Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday, so that means it's time for this week's News Moto. I hope you're feeling nice and mellow and ready to sit down and listen to what's going on in Cambodia right now. Before we get started, just a reminder, if you could please subscribe, like, and comment, that would be great. It really helps us a lot because doing these things helps us to increase the reach of our videos. YouTube uses these things to decide if the video is suggested to more viewers. As our name says, we are for real. Any money we earn from YouTube, we give back to charities in Cambodia. For real. You don't have to donate anything other than your time, and since you're already here, let's get started. As always, up first is the current COVID situation here in Cambodia. The number of cases announced today was 915, and that brings the total of cases of COVID in Cambodia all up to 63,615 cases, a far cry from before the February 22nd incident, where we only had 500 cases in total. Cambodia also announced 33 new deaths, bringing the total deaths to 986. So in the next day or so, I guess we'll see those numbers go over 1,000 in terms of deaths. The Ministry of Health and a representative from the World Health Organization have expressed concerns over the spike in new cases and deaths. They're calling for greater community participation to suppress transmission. The WHO representative said, "The COVID-19 situation in Cambodia is not getting better, and I am very worried about the increasing infections and deaths. Without more effective non-pharmaceutical interventions, it's unlikely to get better." Phnom Penh Capital Administration has extended the suspension of all high-risk businesses and activities for another 14 days from the 10th to the 23rd of July. Businesses included under this directive include schools, that's public and private and vocational training schools, businesses such as KTVs, bars, discotheques, beer gardens, casinos, resorts, museums and amusement parks, massage businesses, cinemas, art theatres, fitness clubs and sports centres. Private large gatherings of 15 people and over are also temporarily banned, but with some exceptions. Gatherings of family members and relatives living in a residence is also okay, and some traditional and religious ceremonies such as funerals are going to be allowed to go ahead as well. The Governor of Phnom Penh Capital Council confirmed that the COVID-19 vaccination campaign in Phnom Penh is now closed, with almost everyone vaccinated and no one is in danger. He said, "I would also like to inform you that although the rate of transmission of COVID virus has not decreased, in Phnom Penh there is an average of more than 200 cases per day in recent days, but the vaccination will definitely help reduce your morbidity and mortality. I would like to confirm that some of them have been vaccinated and are still infected, but the doctors treated them and they are recovered in a short time." So I guess it's like what they tell us about the flu needle back home, that it just decreases the length and severity, doesn't really stop you from getting it, and that's always been the aim. In efforts to control the huge increase in COVID cases, the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces Deputy Commander-in-Chief yesterday ordered troops and other officers to strengthen the border with Thailand to control and prevent the importation of the Delta virus strain. The Ministry of Health has also banned autopsies on COVID-19 fatalities in an attempt to lessen the transmission risk. It's estimated that roughly 70% to 85% of the population will need to be vaccinated to reach the herd immunity threshold in Cambodia. The chairperson of the Lerner Research Institute said, "A vaccinated person acts as a barrier to slow and prevent the virus from continuing to spread. The ultimate end goal is to get as many people vaccinated as possible so that more people are protected. The entire population benefits from a high vaccination coverage, especially those who are most at risk and most vulnerable. Once a population reaches a point of collective immunity where the disease is no longer likely to spread, it reaches the herd immunity threshold." The vaccination campaign is ramping up around the country and has also commenced in another 7 provinces since last week. Those are Svay Rieng, Prey Veng, Banteay Meanchey, Siem Reap, Kampong Tom, Takeo and Kampot. We'll put a link in the comments below to a detailed map that shows the percentages of people vaccinated in each province. You can see very quickly where the vaccinations have progressed to and which provinces are going to receive vaccinations next. You'll also see there's some red areas there where it hasn't started, and there's a big concentration of those areas in the remote northeastern part of the country. I think they're probably waiting for the rainy season to be over before they try and take the vaccines into those areas. We'd like to say a big thank you to David Benaim for the map and the percentages. You can follow him on Twitter, and in the comments I'll put a link to that map so that you can see it, and you can follow him by using that link as well if you want to see his daily updates. He's a data visualization guy, so it's presented in a way that's really easy to understand and easy to digest as well. In other random COVID news, hope you get a kick out of this. Jackie Chan has donated 1 million masks to Cambodia. Thank you, Jackie, for helping Cambodia to fight COVID. That's all on the COVID situation for today. Hopefully in the coming news motos we will have better news and be able to tell you about a greatly improved situation. We also hope to be able to share a lot more information about any travel bubbles that are being discussed. Travel bubble. In some tragic news now, 2 garbage truck workers were killed and a third man was seriously injured in Phnom Penh. The garbage truck workers were collecting garbage along the Russian Federation Boulevard when a CRV collided head-on with the 3 workers. The group in the car then fled the scene. They were caught shortly after. The young male driver had been drinking. It turns out that he stole his father's car and took his friends for a joyride before the crash. The driver was detained by the authorities for questioning. Last week we mentioned a story about a Colombian man who was sentenced to life in prison for possession of almost 4 kilos of cocaine. Unfortunately for him, his appeal was unsuccessful and the Supreme Court has upheld the conviction. So remember, always pack your own bags and never take loans from a Nigerian prince. Your Long Island iced teas may be set to increase in price very soon. The Consumer Protection and Fraud Repression Department seized over 2,000 litres of adulterated alcohol from a warehouse in Phnom Penh. However, the owners fled the premises when the authorities arrived. The seized alcohol has been taken to the department to be held. It's unsure if the alcohol was dangerous, but tests will be conducted shortly. We'll be up later in the week to help with the testing. Still in Phnom Penh, 3 foreigners caused a disturbance when they attacked a tuk-tuk driver and then brawled with police. The suspects were drinking at a local restaurant for many hours and then called a pass-app tuk-tuk to return to their home. When the tuk-tuk arrived, the men quarrelled with the driver and attacked the vehicle, causing extensive damage to his tuk-tuk. Police were summoned and took the foreigners and the owner of the tuk-tuk to the police station. At the police station, the foreign men suddenly attacked the police, who responded in kind with a flurry of blows at the combative drunks. The men will now face legal action, not only for their brawling, but also for their total disregard of the rules on mask wearing and social distancing. Moving on to the mystery of the murdered musician. Kampong Cham Province Police have arrested 2 men in connection with the disappearance of a veteran band leader. According to police sources, one of the suspects has confessed that the body of the victim was dropped off a bridge in Kendal Province. The body was later discovered in the river, wrapped in a bag. The 2 suspects will now face the music and a life behind bars. Now to an explosive story. Siem Reap provincial authorities have discovered more than 405 old hand grenades buried about half a metre underground, just beside a high school. The official said that the cache was found when workers were digging to install telecom cables underground. The demining team was called to the site. The workers had to pull the pin on work until the UXOs were removed. In more news from the underground, in the Angkor Archaeological Park, a team from the Apsara National Authority has discovered 3 heads of Asura. They found the heads while conducting excavations to restore the Takeo Gate, also known as the West Gate. If you've been to the West Gate, you'll know that it's the least used of the 5 gates of the walled city of Angkor Thom. A statue of an Apsara dancer and many other broken pieces of artefacts have been found, along with the Asura heads. The gate was made of sandstone and laterite, and 3 4-faced Brahma above. The Brahma faces look out in each of the 4 cardinal directions. Time to branch out into a different subject. For the first time, the Kampong Speu provincial governor went on a helicopter flight to spray some 400,000 mixed tree seeds over a forest in Piem. The sponsor Natural Beauty Company president said that the company will continue to support the project, which is called Earth Wound Healing, to ensure the community had a sustainable livelihood. The company is planning to spray 1 million mixed tree seeds on the mountain in the near future. Hopefully they will succeed with their projects. The National Committee for Disaster Management warned of increased incidences of strong winds, thunderstorms and lightning this year. In the first 6 months of this year, he said 59 people had already been killed by lightning, as compared to 69 deaths for the whole of last year. In percentage news, there was a very interesting and strange story about traffic accidents. The Ministry of Interior has expressed concern over the rising incidences of accidents and deaths, especially because many are happening at night. In the first half of the year, there were 1,261 recorded traffic accidents, and 50.5% were at night. The main two causes of these accidents were identified as speeding and disrespecting the traffic laws. No surprises there, I guess. The strange part is that the other 49.5% of the accidents occurred during the day, so there's only a small difference between night and day. Moving on finally to the percentages that matter most, the percentages that we love. Over 50% of Cambodia's adults have now had at least one dose of COVID vaccination. 30% of the population have had the second dose and are now considered to be fully vaccinated. That's a total of 8.9 million doses have been injected so far. Links to all of these stories are down below in the comments section. Please check them out if you want some more information. There's more detail there. Thank you so much for watching. It's our pleasure to have you here for another week, and hopefully we'll see you on our other video on the weekend.